What if I told you a failed bank robbery could actually save people's life? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pages in Pumpkin. My name is Mehek. I hope you guys are all fine, and like always, I also hope that you guys are reading. Back with the book of the week that I finished. It's called Anxious People. It's by Fredrik Backman. For those of you who know Fredrick and who has read his wonderful title, A Man Called Ove, you know the author is famous for writing complex human emotions in the most beautiful and simple manner. For those of you who haven't read this author, I would request to first go and read his book, A Man Called Ove. You would understand what the hype is around this author. About this book, it is part funny and part heartbreaking, I would say, but it's the most human book that I have come across. This book was published in 2019 in Sweden, followed by 2020 in English. And there's also a Netflix series, as you can see here, it's written. There's also a Netflix series on it. In fact, I heard that there's going to be a movie adaptation soon starring Angelina Jolie. So now let's talk about the plot of this book. The book, it has a very crazy plot, but you have to bear with it and have patience for it to shine. 10 years ago, a man loses all his life's financial savings when the market crashes. He visits the bank asking them for an advice. That's where he meets Zara, a lady who owns the bank, and she's quite rude to him, and she says that it was his mistake to trust the bank with his money. Next thing you know, the man jumps off the bridge, leaving a letter for Zara. Cut to present time, we have a parent who is trying to save some money to save up for the rent for the apartment to save the children after the divorce. Otherwise, the lawyer, if there's no house, the lawyer is going to take the kids away. Having no option and no money, the parent comes up with an idea of bank robbery. However, the robbery does not go as planned because the parent lands up at a cashless bank. That means no money. So the bank robber now panics and sees an apartment across the street and lands there. Now this apartment is having an open house wherein you have 8 people who are inside the apartment who are there for the viewing. Once the bank robber lands there, suddenly people think that they have now been held as hostages. From there on starts this the book. Switches between two situations. One is the hostage situation, so we see what's happening inside the apartment between all the characters and the bank robber. And there's also the other situation wherein we see after the hostages are released, the interviews that the policemen have with all the hostages who were inside the apartment. Because after the hostages were released, the police finds blood in the apartment. However, the bank robber is nowhere to be found and no one knows who the bank robber is. So the book, the entire plot is about this hostage situation and the interviews happening thereafter. Now, it's very difficult for me to talk about this book and not give away the mystery or the twist. But I would just say that have patience with the plot because the twist in the end is going to blow your mind. So there's also an element of mystery to this book. This book is not something grand with a very grand scene or plot. No, I think it's an intimate character study. Each of the character, I feel, is wonderfully developed. They all deserve a different storyline, I feel. And I think that's the beauty of Backman, the author. He, first of all, I think he makes adult emotions, anxieties, and problems very relatable. And I think that is why I love his books. And this book, doesn't disappoint there. I have 4 takeaways from this book, which I would like to talk about. The first one, and I have made a note so that I don't miss. I think, which is also related to the title, that we all are anxious people. Everyone has a story, so bear with them, and that's why the title Anxious People. I think we all are anxious people, anxious to be loved, anxious to fit in, anxious to be liked. That's why the title. The second one is a very important takeaway, that I think we are allowed to convince ourselves that we are more than our past mistakes, and there is a possibility of a new us or a better future. So I think that is very important to remember. The third one is that human connection is so important, and strangers have such deep impact in your life you don't even realize. And the fourth one is that kindness is so important in being right, and compassion is also so important to survive each day. I think the USA Today described this book as something that talks about kindness and compassion being the utmost important thing to survive each day. And I think that is what, for me, also the book did that. At the end of the day, I think this book is actually about, human connections, and that how all of us need that connection in our life. I think I would give this book 5 out of 5. I absolutely loved it. Uh, so if you're someone who loved Fredrik book or enjoyed A Man Called Ove, or if you enjoy stories with this intimate character development, I would say, then I think you should definitely check this out. But if you're someone who's used to fast plots, you want too much to happen, then this is not the book for you, because, like I said, there are so many characters, and the author kind of meander along different tangents, and you're like, what's happening? But you have to bear with it and have patience, and it all makes sense in the end. So I think that is what this book is. That's all on the review. Let me know in the comments if you have read the book. What did you feel about it? Was it as heartbreaking for you as it was for me, as human, full of emotions? And if you enjoyed the review, please also let me know that. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to see you guys next week with another title. Till then, take care and bye.